Hey everyone, I'm John Lynn, the founder and chief editor at Healthcare IT Today. We're excited to bring you another in our series of interviews with top leaders in health IT. And our guest today is Puneet Maheshwari. He's SVP GM Optum Real at Optum Insight. Welcome, Puneet.
Welcome, John. Excited to be here.
Yeah, excited for this discussion. Thanks for coming over during the busy health conference to talk with us. I think most people know Optum, but tell us a little bit about yourself and Optum.
Yeah, so Optum is a health services company. Within Optum, I work within an organization called Optum Insight. Optum Insight is a tech and services organization serving the rest of the health system. We serve 9 out of 10 health systems in the country and 4 out of 5 payers in the country. So a very wide spectrum of capabilities that we bring to bear.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us, what is Optum Real and how does it fundamentally change kind of the traditional claims and reimbursement process in healthcare?
So reimbursement processes in healthcare today are broken. We all know that. And that is after both payers and providers have invested significantly in systems. So providers have invested in revenue cycle management, processes and capabilities. Payers, on the other hand, have invested in payment integrity capabilities. But even with all that investment over decades, we still have close to 500 million claims that get reworked.
Yeah.
And that's a significant amount of overhead and waste for the industry. Optum Real is an attempt to solving that. We believe, based on first principle analysis, that the fundamental reason for why this system is broken is because there's lack of transparency between payers and providers.
Okay.
Historically, that lack of transparency has been primarily because it's hard to get real-time transparent information from stacks and stacks of contracts, benefits, guidelines. There was almost impossible to understand what really happened in an encounter in real time. But the good news is with technology, particularly AI and particularly with large language models, we have cracked the code of understanding unstructured content. All that content that has been hidden in those piles of documents, if you will. And for the first time, we can convert claim in earnest to a reasoning problem between those knowledge bases that I articulated. So if I can reason over contracts, benefits, guidelines, and can really understand at a nuanced level on what really happened in the encounter, I can solve a lot of transparency problems that exist between the payers and the providers.
Wow.
And that's the premise of Optum Real. And in a single sentence, I'll define it as creating real-time transparency between payers and providers in the moments of care that matter. And the operative words are, of course, real-time transparency, but equally importantly, in the moments of care that matter. We believe there are 2 journey points that are highly impactful here. One is before the patient walks into the door. So even before the patient comes in, can we create transparency around whether a particular encounter would be covered, what would be the patient liability, what would the provider get paid? And then knowing very well that healthcare is variable and we cannot predict everything that's going to happen in the encounter, the next logical step is at the time of checkout, before the patient walks out of the door, rather than 3 weeks or 3 months after. And for that, you need a complete reimagination of the workflow where with technology today, you can scribe an encounter in real time. You can use the technology to understand where the documentation is incomplete based on downstream impacts. You can nudge the provider to make sure that the document is accurate and complete. You can autonomously code from there and hopefully even autonomously bill before the patient walks out. So by the time I, as a patient, leaves the doctor office and get to the administrative staff and the front office, I know exactly what I need to pay. I can swipe my HSA card and walk away. The provider knows what they will be paid, and the transaction is complete.
Yeah.
Today, that takes anywhere from 3 weeks to 3 months.
Let's dive into that a little more because I love the vision. And what I love about the vision is the payer benefits, the provider benefits, and the patient benefits, right? Like, I mean, if we're able to create that transparency and that speed of processing, then all 3 organizations benefit, or 3 stakeholders, if you will. But I'd love to, let's take a step back. Like, what are the pain points and the biggest pain points in today's claims and reimbursement process for both the payers, the providers, and also the patients, is it that paper process, or is it the complexity, or the fact that it's delayed? Like, what do you see as the biggest pain points?
It's actually all of the above. So if you think, the best analogy I have seen coming for what happens in reimbursement flows today is payers and providers write letters to each other. And those letters are sent through snail mails in a way. And not really. But
and it's not the notebook where we're excited to receive a letter? Yeah, that's
exactly.
right.
Optum Real moves that from that batch mode of communicating with each other to real-time text messages, if you will, right? So a provider can ask a question to a payer, hey payer, will this action that I'm about to take be covered? And the payer should be able to reason over the contract that they have with this particular provider, the benefits that are there for this particular patient, the exact diagnosis and the need of the patient from a medical necessity standpoint, compare it against the guidelines, and then respond in real time, a yes or a no. And if a no, then the reason of why not. And that transparency is game changing in today's healthcare industry, right?
Yeah.
I like to believe that reimbursement and financial flows should be completely opaque for the provider and the patient. Unfortunately, today they are front and center in terms of how decisions get made. And because those pieces are still not in time, those decisions are further delayed, creating high level of stress and anxiety for the patients and their families. So it's not something that is behind the scenes. It really is affecting how we deliver care today. Our objective is to make it behind the scenes. Our objective is to make it so seamless that a patient and a provider doesn't have to think about it as they're making those decisions.
So why is now the right time for this? Like, is it because of the evolution of AI and technology that's allowing for it? Is it, trends in policy or reimbursement, or even the frustration with that? Like, why is now the right time to kind of adopt this real-time AI-powered claim system that you're talking about, like Optum Real?
So I would say, look, real-time is not a new idea.
Sure.
And I have come to learn this and be humbled by the fact that no idea in healthcare is net new. There are very smart people who have thought about these ideas in the past.
Yeah.
The reason why it is so viable today is because of technology. As I mentioned, claim can in earnest be understood as a reasoning problem between contracts, benefits, guidelines, and encounter. There was no way for us to understand all this unstructured information and reason over it even a year ago. So what did payers and providers do? They started using rule-based systems, and those rule-based systems, as we all know, fracture at corner cases. So you're seeing somewhere around 80 to 85% of the transactions go smoothly, somewhere between 15 to 20% of the transactions lead to all the rework.
Sure.
And AI, particularly large language models, and the sophistication that we are getting in terms of reasoning over language will allow us and is allowing us to do it much more efficiently and effectively today, both on the payer side as well as on the provider side.
Yeah, I love that. That's a good way to describe it. So could you share any specific results or maybe early feedback that you're getting? I know you're piloting Optum Real with some organizations. What are you seeing from the early feedback and results?
So it's important to understand that Optum Real is a two-sided problem. Mm-hmm. On one side, you need to get a payer to open up and upgrade their infrastructure so that they can respond in real time to the queries that are coming from the provider. We are fortunate to have United Healthcare commit to this vision, and we worked with United Healthcare to digitize majority of their underlying knowledge bases around contracts, benefits, etc., and created that foundation through which they can respond in real time to the payer. So that's the first piece, or the first piece of the puzzle that we solved. Using that, we started working with a handful of provider groups, and the results have been just amazing. There's a large health system, national large system, who reduced their call volumes to the payer by roughly 42%. They were able to kind of bring in close to $300 million worth of AR to close.
Wow.
Another health system started using some of these real-time APIs and saw literally 25% reduction in their call volumes within the first 2 weeks itself.
Wow.
We are right now piloting with a large health system in Minnesota in a much more contained environment of radiology and cardiology, and we are seeing dramatic improvements in reduction in first-time errors between the payers and providers. And when I say dramatic, I'm talking about as high as 75% reduction in those first-time errors that happen. So the proof is in the pudding. The real-time technology is going to move the needle with respect to the amount of rework that exists in the industry today. The question really is, how fast can we deploy this,
Sure.
and how fast the industry can adopt this thing? And that's where, again, the two-sided nature of the problem is the critical aspect of how we'll have to think about rolling this thing out. The first turn of the flywheel has been taken with United Healthcare opening up the APIs. The second turn is with a set of providers, and now we believe that we have an amazingly positive vortex in which we can get more and more providers and payers to participate. And as we do that, you'll see impact with every new payer who joins and every new provider who joins, right? There's a quintessential two-sided network benefit.
And there's power. As it grows even more value to everyone in the network.
Exactly.
That's the beauty of networks. I love that. As you kind of look forward, like, how do you see Optum Real kind of reshaping the future of healthcare, and in particular the reimbursement side? But you know, if reimbursement improves, healthcare improves. Anyway, how do you see it kind of reshaping healthcare?
Yeah, look, I think healthcare in US is one of those industries where we get or buy the services without knowing what the price of this thing is going to be, which is pretty much unimaginable in any other industry. Our ambition is to create a retail-like experience for the consumer and the patient and the member as they interact with health system. And as we do that, we believe that we will be able to bring a significant amount of administrative overhead that exists between payers and providers down, and all that savings should be available then for care delivery rather than for running administration. And that is the long-term vision. We strongly believe in that, and it aligns with our overarching mission as United Health Group of making healthcare simple and efficient for the whole health system.
That's awesome. Well, Puneet, I think as all of us are patients at some point or another, I think we want you to be really successful because it impacts patients, it impacts the doctors, it impacts the organizations we're in. So I appreciate you sharing all about Optum Real and the work you're doing, and being able to give us a vision of where it's all headed. And thanks everyone for watching and listening. If you want to find more great healthcare IT content like this, be sure to check it out at healthcareittoday.com or search for Healthcare IT Today on your favorite podcast applications. Thanks, Puneet.
Thank you, John. Really appreciate it.